It's Brandon from Russell Springs iPhone Doctor. We have a little girl who, it's her birthday, and she busted her iPad a while back, and her mother wants to get this fixed for her birthday. So this is a 9th gen iPad. We're going to change just the digitizer, which is all that needs changed, in the white color. She's going to be exceedingly happy when we're done. It's going to look brand new. And she's got a screen protector we're going to put on it for her as well. So I start out with this with, like I do with most things, a little alcohol, a little heat. We only use 99% alcohol, as we do in refurbishing screens. It's the only thing that won't hurt electronics. If you use anything else, you can have some major issues with corrosion and rebooting and all kinds of problems. So we get underneath the glass, we start loosening it. The alcohol loosens the glass. On iPads, you have to be really careful not to use very much. I just use a tiny bit on the edge just to loosen it a little bit. And you should probably wear gloves if you're not used to this. I am used to it, and I don't cut my hands very often. I still do sometimes, but I have done thousands of iPads, so I typically don't wear gloves for this. It kind of depends on how busted it is. It's pretty busted, but I've done so many 7, 8, 9th gens. The 7, 8, and 9s all take the same digitizer, so it's pretty much the same process. Once we get the top off, I like to go down the side with a card and some alcohol and heat, and it usually goes all the way down the side there. And then just kind of, as you see, it's the same boring process all the way around. A little ISO, a little heat, and you kind of just have to chip away at it, pull. Just the very edge has glue. Just the very tip, as you see, it's pretty thin strip there. And we pull all that off. And once we get the glass off, we're going to clean the frame really, really well so the new glass sticks nicely and you don't have any issues popping up. The one thing that was an annoyance for these for years until I figured out how to really secure them was the home buttons. But we have a new way to do that, and it's very secure. And the home button is very, very flush now. It's basically factory when we get done. These open up like a book. If you're staring at it, on the right-hand side is where all your connectors are. So your connector for your digitizer and the home button is what's connected to the screen there. So you have to be cautious lifting this up. You don't want to rip the cable for the button. If you do, you're going to lose the fingerprint scan feature on this iPad, or any Apple product that has a fingerprint scanner if you rip them. As you know, if you know much about Apple products, they code these to the motherboard. It's the same way with facial recognition, ever since kind of the 5S, so a very long time. And we just kind of clean the frame up. This is the process where you want to make sure the frame is really clean. These LCDs you got to be careful with taking them out as well. I'll show in a moment how to get these LCDs out without breaking them. If you're a rookie or you're new to this, you could easily break this LCD taking it out because you kind of have to know how it comes out. There's 4 screws holding it in. There's one in each corner. So we remove those 4 screws. And once they're removed, we can pull up on the LCD itself. So what I do is I take tweezers and I go on the top side there, the top corners, and I kind of just wiggle it. And you'll feel when it kind of breaks up on that LCD. Be real careful taking this home button out too. I use, again, alcohol and heat. I kind of just lift it up and out. If you rip the cable, again, that's the fingerprint scan, and it won't work after your repair. Your button may not work at all after the repair if you rip it. Can be replaced, but you do lose the fingerprint scan feature. So this is where I was talking about lifting the LCD. So just back and forth a little bit. You'll feel it kind of in between the frame and the LCD. And I just kind of lift up just a little bit and then pull it out because it is down in the grooves there. If you just lift it straight up, you'll crack it. And we disconnect the battery, and we take the screws out and the plate that's holding down the digitizer and the LCD. And we obviously disconnect all that. Make sure your battery's disconnected beforehand though, like I did here. As you see, I've got my business card in between the battery connector and that. So I like to use compressed air. Little glass shards get in places it shouldn't when you're doing something like this. So, and again, clean the frame a little bit more. Got a really good knife tool I use for that. And this is the new digitizer. We also do a like a home button bracket. I do a new one. The screens come with a new one, which is nice. And we glue the like a 3M, strong 3M tape on each side of the home button. It comes with glue, but it's not super strong. I like this 3M tape. I get it online. I think I get it on Amazon, but it's a 3M tape, double-sided. I use it for the home button on each side there. And then once that's there, we attach the digitizer to the actual frame there itself, and then put the home button in. I like these because they've got a cutout where you can kind of feel the button without actually sealing it up. That little blue tab down there, you break that off and you can actually still feel the button area, so you know if you've got it flush and it's clicking nicely without having to remove the front plastic that's on the screen. I really make sure these are in there on these models so I don't have to reopen these. So I push down, make sure they're flush, and put the button in its little place. And I get the bracket, and it has like kind of, it's got a line there for the bracket. You can kind of see. You just have to line the bracket up and put it kind of right in that spot. And it should click pretty well if your supplier or whoever has the digitizer, if it comes with the bracket. Usually the brackets that come with are pretty nice, and that's how I secure the button. And then we remove my business card and redo the battery screw and the plate that's holding down the screen, or the digitizer and LCD. And we're back where we once came. So these are pretty, I mean, if you've done a lot of them, they're not so bad. They take a little longer than iPhones, but not worlds longer. I did trim some of the boring parts of this video, but I didn't exclude any steps. All steps are shown. Not a full video because those won't, TikTok doesn't even let me do over 10 minutes, and probably would be a little bit boring for TikTok. But this does show all steps that we do, and basically then we make sure we get all 4 screws for the LCD back in, line it up perfectly, kind of go like a book, right to left, and push around every corner, make sure it seals nicely. We're going to use clamps when we're done too, for about probably 30 minutes, but as you see, it seals pretty well. If you clean it really well, it'll seal really nicely. If you don't, it won't seal very well. This little girl is going to be very happy for her birthday. And boom. There we go. And we test the touch a little bit. The home button obviously works still. We didn't rip it. Everything still functions. And happy birthday to her. Another one bites the dust. Gonna turn it off, clamp it, and let them know it's ready to be picked up here in a few minutes. Hope you enjoyed watching.